And they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saratoga Racecourse for the first Saturday of the 2020 meet. And we have sunny skies. The temperature will be in the upper 80s. The main track is fast. The turf courses are firm. Portable rail up at 12 feet on the melon and at 9 feet on the inner turf. And there's a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of more than $96,000. We have 11 races today. In the first race, please note that all horses will be carrying 1 pound over. In the second race, these horses are carrying 2 pounds over, numbers 1, 2, 6, and 8. That's in the second. Today's third race is the Grade 2 National Museum of Racing Hall of Fame Stakes. Scratch the 4, Money Moves, and 5, Guffo. Scratch 4 and 5, and these horses will be 2 pounds over, numbers 1, 2, 3, and 6. There are no changes in the fourth. In today's fifth race, and please note all horses that are running will be carrying 2 pounds over, and here are the scratches. Scratch 1, Vicarage, 2, Futuro, scratch 8, Joycey Has Pizzazz, and 11, Obsessed. Fifth race, scratch 1, 2, 8, and 11. Today's sixth race will begin the Empire 6. We have a jockey change on number 8, Breakthrough, to Dylan Davis. Dylan Davis rides the 8 Breakthrough, and all horses will be carrying 1 pound over. There are no changes in the seventh. And there are no changes in the eighth. In today's ninth race, scratch 3, It's All Relevant, and 5, Expert. Scratch 3 and 5, and numbers 1, 7, 8, and 9 are 2 pounds over. Today's 10th race is the Grade 1 Coaching Club American Oaks for 3-year-old fillies. Scratch number 3, Althoff. Scratch the 3. And in today's 11th and final race, scratch 1, Royal Kaz, 1A, Kaz's Beach, and scratch the 3, Quick Return. Scratch 1, 1A, and 3, and these horses are 1 pound over, numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. Main track fast, turf courses are firm. Jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of $96,192. We'll be back at 12:30. To recap the changes, today's first race post is at 1:10. Up next, it's the Saturday Super Edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Water. You can tell by the big blue bottles. Andy Serling, soon to be joined by Anthony Stabile as we go over today's 11-race card on the first Saturday of the Saratoga meet. It's a little warm up here, but it is a beautiful day. Turf course yesterday, which was listed as good, but probably on the yielding side of good. Imagine with the nice weather since then, it'll be drying out. It's listed as good to start the day, but we'll see how those courses are drying as the day progresses. You need to head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, become a member. Support racing in New York. Go to NairaBets.com. We will match up to $200 of your deposit. Use promo code SPA and become a member. Once you've joined, you can enjoy all of the many opportunities on Naira Bets, including if you play through the app any day this weekend, starting yesterday, but it's good today and tomorrow as well. $100 or more at Saratoga and Monmouth on the app, and big day at Monmouth, the Haskell as well. You will get a $25 bonus. Also, a cross-country pick 5. We'll have 3 from Monmouth. We'll have the Monmouth Cup, race 10, the United Nations, race 11, a trip up north to Woodbine for the Royal North, race number 9. All these are graded stakes, 3 of them grade 1s. The 4th leg is the Haskell, and the final leg is our CCA Oaks, race number 10 here at Saratoga. Also, Saratoga Live, watch it all summer. Go to Naira.com/Saratoga Live to find out what networks we're on and when. And, of course, you can also always watch it on YouTube, the Naira YouTube page. Anthony, you ready for a big day?
Yes, sir.
And you'll be appearing at the National today?
Yep,
One of a number of appearances you'll be making this weekend at the National. Where they'll have people for lunch, and Anthony will be I would say he's the guest star. I'm just going to say you're the star.
The star.
You're the star. Wherever you go, you're just a bright shining star.
Superstar.
We're going to get to work and try to get through this 11-race card. Race number 1, the first 2-year-old maiden dirt race of the meet. In fact, the first 2-year-old maiden race of the meet. And Todd Pletcher's a heavy favorite in here, and we'll take a look at Mo Mischief's 2-year-old sales work. This horse sold for $500,000. The same sale that Momo, the 2 for Christophe Clement, sold for $180,000. I'm going to tell you something. Of the 2 sales works, I was more impressed with Clement's horse.
All right. Well, you're going to probably get, when all's said and done, 2 or 3 times the price on the Clement.
Well, I thought there was a more impressive sales work that paid $70 from the same sale the other day. And the 4-to-1 shot in that race got nothing. They both worked well. It's Todd Pletcher. This is a second foal, a 3-year gap from the first foal. The dam herself had a lot of speed. The money right now says this one's the good.
So let's talk about this money for a minute.
Okay, let's.
My Racehorse Stables owns a piece of this horse, which means a lot of people own a piece of this horse.
Do you own a piece?
I don't.
Does Kaka own a piece?
My man Mark Hirschman does.
There he does. Okay.
So be careful with the money, because when multiple people own, and it's early, people are going to bet their horse.
It might be the first great point of the show.
Thank you.
I'm not. We'll see how great the points are.
We'll see how it goes.
And the real tip horse is the number 6, who you picked on top, Repo Rock.
Yes.
And the interesting thing is, no matter how many people are involved in My Racehorse, it pales in comparison to the number of people that Lee Einseidler has told that this is the greatest horse of all time, despite his trainer saying he worked okay.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. More often than not, you would probably want to lean with the Hall of Fame trainer who's won 5,000 plus races.
But he's not exactly a trainer that's had a lot of first-time starters win the dirt.
No. What I mean is when you're listening to opinions. But I trust my man Lee. I'll tell you what.
I don't trust your man Lee.
You see a lot of bullets on this horse's card. And that's just not something. I know some of them were against small work samples and such, and you don't see a lot of bullets from the Bill Mott barn. We'll see what the Fletcher horse does. You mentioned that you like the Clement work, sales work better.
Momos, yep.
Let's see what happens here. He's outside. The way he's working, he certainly looks like he's going to be a bullet out of there.
I won't be surprised when he's vying for favoritism by post time. And keep in mind, we're an hour and a half away from post time.
Of course.
Holland, will take. I think we have a stat for Holland. Do I have that stat? For Steve Asmussen, second-time starters at Saratoga. Had a lot of success with these over the years. And while Holland didn't do much running first time out, we've seen the Aspen barn have these horses improve. So, and the only one with experience, I think you're remiss to leave out. I took a shot, and in these races, I rarely have any tips, and Anthony will attest to that. And if I do, they came from Anthony. Should McGay and Woodford Racing, as far as, you think about their association with Farish, Code of Honor, Honor Code.
All the good ones in the last 10 years.
But also horses that won their debuts at Saratoga.
Both did.
And I thought this was kind of interesting for Sugar Speightster. I'm very interested to see what the Speightsters do. And I just guessed with this one, so it's a lot of guessing here. So, we'll see what the board says. But there are players in here.
Half the Mijos, who was cut out to be a nice one. So,
thank you for that.
Yeah. Listen, Baranu, the 4, has some experience as well. He was gelded off his first effort. He'd be a little bit of a surprise. I don't know if any of the others would be shocking in here.
I don't disagree. Race number 2. Mile 16th on the Mellon Turf Course. We'll go down to Tampa Bay. 2 back for Mr. Kringle before he took on Decorated Invader. I was originally thinking of trying to beat this horse, and he did get a perfect trip when he ran second in this race. Beat a horse assiduously, who came back to improve dramatically with blinkers on. A subsequent start for Chad Brown in New York. I just think this horse lays over the field. Short price. What is it? Short price
Short
beat
price,
for long face?
Long face, yep. Better a short price than a long face.
I'm not trying to beat this horse. I thought Winning Factor was the other horse you might want here as improved for David Donk. But I just thought that Mr. Kringle would win this race at a very, very short price.
Yeah, I took one little shot against him. I mean, he makes a ton of sense in here. I'm hoping the horse I pick on top, Kill Ronan, who was off a very long layoff from October of 18 to July of this year. Made a little bit of a middle move into a slow pace. Bray got the money that day. He's second off the bench now, off a long break. I don't know.
20-month layoff and then back in 13 days.
Yeah, I think that's either the race came up or that's a good sign that this horse rebounded nicely.
Terrible race, Anthony.
Yeah, it's not a good race. I know it's not a good race. I'm kind of hoping, and look, Arch Kingsley, that's the jump set. So they know how to keep horses fit. And
you should start spending more time in the jump set, don't you think?
I'm closer to riding jumpers than I am flats. And it would knock off. I've driven trotters in the media races, harness horses.
I would like video of that. We'd like to show it on
I'll
the show.
bring you video.
One of 2 stakes today, the National Museum Racing Hall of Fame, race number 3. Normally we run this on the day that the inductees come in. We didn't want to wait until next year, so we decided to run it early. And obviously it can be used as a prep for our Saratoga Derby, which I believe is being run in the middle of August.
Yes.
There's no question the horse Decorated Invader is the horse to beat. I missed my disagreement with the MIG. Just got a text from the MIG, actually, and it was good to hear from my friend Richard Migliori. I don't disagree with him that coming to the tight opening was a good experience for him, but he also had a very good trip. But he's a very, very nice horse. He's shown to be efficient at 2 turns, 1 turn, whatever the case. He's a good horse. He's way the horse to be at a very short price.
It's cost me a half a lunch right here. You'll see Joel Rosario actually
give me a break.
Take a couple of...
The lunches are at $49. It didn't cost you half a lunch because we bet a lunch and a half instead of 1 lunch, and you won. So it actually didn't cost you half a lunch. So stop whining.
You're telling somebody to stop whining.
In this particular
That's like me telling somebody to stop eating.
Let me tell you, I am an expert at whining, so I know whining when I hear it. And you're whining, dude. We met. Is it true that we bet a lunch and a half?
We did.
And you won.
Okay. I got the money. So all right. So I can't complain about it.
But lunch total is at 49, in case anybody lost count.
Yeah, you said that twice. So Decorated Invader, who. We have a lot of nice 3-year-old turf runners out there.
We do?
Right in his barn. Guffo, what's wrong with Guffo?
I didn't like Guffo's race last time, actually.
Okay.
He scratched.
But he comes out, obviously not going to come back in 2 weeks. I like the fact that they have resisted running Decorated Invader on the dirt. Because I think Decorated Invader is just a really good racehorse. And in this unusual year, I'm a little surprised. They had that horse a couple of years ago, best performance that they tried on the dirt. I'm a little surprised because the declarations of wars have run okay on the dirt.
I'm not sure what that has to do with today's race.
I just think he's better than these horses. I just think he's
very well maybe. I'm interested in domestic spending and just thought I would take the alternative. And he's got to improve to win. But this win was a much, much more impressive win than it looks on paper. Now, first of all, he lugs in there, and Irad really does a great job of never losing momentum with him, despite the fact that he lugged in like that. And for him to have closed into that slow pace and come home and close to 22 seconds flat under these circumstances, I thought was nothing short of remarkable. Now, the 1 mile, 1-turn races at Belmont are conducive to that kind of running style, and obviously he wasn't running down a horse with the talent of Decorated Invader. It's interesting, that weekend would normally have been Belmont Stakes weekend. In the prior 3 years, Chad Brown won, the non-winners have won at 1 mile at Belmont Park on Belmont Stakes weekend with Bricks and Mortar, Raging Bull, and Valid Point.
All grade 1 winners.
All grade 1 winners. Now,
That's
doesn't mean
amazing.
domestic spending is going to be a grade 1 winner, but that has proven fruitful. And also, both Bricks and Mortar and Raging Bull won the Hall of Fame in their subsequent start. Now, I'm not saying he's going to repeat himself. None of them had to face a horse like Decorated Invader. But I think this is an improving horse that has a chance to upset, and the favorite's going to be a heavy favorite. I want to put this horse on top.
He does something that I like to see my horses do. And he did it twice in the stretch of the allowance race. He actually puts his head down and goes after his rivals. And you'll see horses from off the pace doing more than horses on the lead because they're going after their rivals. He puts his head down. He actually levels off on them and comes and gets them. He did it as soon as he hooked the horse on the lead last time, and he did it as he went by. I'm very impressed with him. He's going to like the extra distance. You would think the way he's closed in his first 2 starts, and like you said, kind of a dawdling pace last time. He flew home. I just don't know if he's ready for Decorated Invader yet.
You know what I like? The number of ways that you have figured out to say that horses pass the eye test without saying the word. No, I'm trying to compliment you. You've shown great ingenuity in coming up with your eye test stuff.
It's not ingenuity. It's the truth.
Okay, I'm sorry. You've shown no ingenuity. I apologize. What about Moon Over Miami as an improving horse? What about Moon Over?
That was a big effort last time. The blinkers went on.
Chad and I don't talk about horses. We talk about other things.
Well, ask him. Blinkers went on. He got a much better ride on turf than he had gotten in his prior start.
Yes.
I think Joe Talamo did a fantastic job.
One of us bet him. It was Bill Mott's 5,000th win.
One of us bet him the day he won. One of us bet him the day he lost. Did you bet him the day he lost too? I bet him the day he lost. Of course I did.
I did, actually, because he ran sneaky well. He didn't run in that Decorated Invader race. He actually didn't run that badly. Now, we're not making a case for to beat Decorated Invader, but he's closer in the finish because he had a big trip in that race. That's race number 3. Race number 4, as we're blessed by the appearance of one of the great stars of Saratoga Live, Greg Wolf, coming up to the set. This is a great honor having Greg here.
I just waved to you, forgetting I was
I found race number 4 to be a very tricky race, yet you and I have landed on the same horse. But let's talk about Baby Boss and the pace, because Baby Boss figures to get involved in the pace would let me take this call. And obviously the good Baby Boss is going to be tough to beat in this race, but isn't she going to face the pressure? And I don't... Now, Jeremiah Englehart won dropping down yesterday in a move on a horse that I liked, that you were skeptical, and I'm not knocking you because I had some questions too. So he has won on these kind of drop downs in the past. This drop down scares me a little bit. It's not like this horse left in bad form.
Right. I think that's the...
But that was true of the horse yesterday, too. The horse had, I think, equaled her best buyer figure.
And I don't, on paper, Baby Boss and Let Me Take This Call are kind of as fast as each other. But...
You mean early speed?
Early speed.
Not late speed.
Under circumstance.
The best races
right?
by Baby Boss will smother them.
Smother them, no question. On paper, they look similar. But when you take into account the riders, the posts, I got to think Manny's just going to be as aggressive as he possibly can. I think she's going to clear this field. I'm worried about a 7-month layoff. I am worried that Let Me Take This Call will be in close enough proximity to put pressure on her sooner rather than later. But I do think she's the clear speed today. I don't think Let Me Take This Call for the first quarter of a mile, 3/8 of a mile can keep up with this filly today.
As we show no deals last race, why don't you tell us why you like no deals?
Well, she's got the claim 3 starts back. Chris Englehart ran her back. She win. She come back. She ran into Daria's Angel, and I look at a field like this, and Daria's Angel is another one who would just, like Baby Boss, Daria's Angel has races that would just annihilate this field. She's going to be close enough behind the speed. Jose Lascano is going to climb aboard. she's run well up here in the past. I just thought she was going to work out the right trip. She's improved off the barn change.
She has improved off the barn chain. A couple things. Chris Englehart, for its worth, 3 to 6 month layoffs, has solid enough numbers. A lot of those are Finger Lakes, but he's got a positive ROI at Naira doing it as well. No Deal's a kind of tricky horse because the race that we just showed against Dari's Angel, that was an inside speed track, and she chased outside and still ran very well. And so that effort makes her look very good. The problem is, on January 30th, when she won 2 back, that was an inside speed favoring track, and she was the inside speed that day. So she has one race off the claim where she was very much with the bias, and then a race where she was against the bias. So it is sort of an unusual circumstance with her. I do agree she's improved, and I like that she was against it last time, the two back. And I thought she'd be a square enough price. We'll see. I thought it was a very, very tricky race.
It is a tricky race because I think it's always tricky when you have these drop downs that have speed, because she's going to be in she's going to have a tactical advantage, Baby Boss. She's
Why
is
it a drop down that doesn't have speed any different?
Because for me, the speed horses in the sprints have an ultimate edge, just a general ultimate edge. So I just think when horses start to lose their class a little bit, the last thing that goes is the speed. And she gets in front of these horses. I think she can keep going. What about your
theory from 2 months ago?
That's going long. That's going. And I said that. That was at Belmont, out of the chute, going those mile and the 16th races.
I'm trying to keep track. I need like one of those special guide.
I mean, doesn't it? But isn't it common sense, Andy? The shorter you have to go, the less work you'd want to do. Just be on the front end.
No,
come on, Andy.
No,
I
actually couldn't agree less with you. I actually think the hardest races to wire are 6 furlong races, and the easier ones to wire are 7s, and even some route races because the paces are much less contested. Race number 5 on the turf, going 1 mile, and I allowed you to pick the Chad Brown Klarovich first time starter.
I have to tell you, this is not one that there's a ton of bravado or confidence in.
I think this horse worked with some pretty good horses. I think this horse did this horse work with good governance?
I don't know. I do not know.
I thought he might have.
2 siblings have tried turf. Neither have won on the grass.
The Dam was a turf winner, though.
Dan was a turf winner. Yeah, Dan was a turf winner. I'm not.
You were just showing loyalty to Klarovich.
I'm not in love with. Listen, I'm going to
week.
be completely honest. I'm not in love with anybody else in here. And when I'm in Saratoga, if I ever rate, I'm defaulting to Chad. And I know you're taking the worst of it with the price, but I'm defaulting to Chad Brown.
Oak Hill on paper is the horse to beat. We'll go to Churchill Downs and watch Oak Hill's debut. And he's got plenty of turf pedigree. I thought he ran fine in here. The problem I have, and we'll show you the stat afterwards, is not just this. Is Al Stahl does not have great numbers stretching out on the turf with maidens, but also I just don't love the move. A lot of these horses that run reasonably well in these turf sprints first time out, they're just not as effective stretching out.
Hate this move.
It just doesn't work. Oh, by the way, Conglomerate worked with value engineering. Excuse me.
Okay.
Thanks, David Aragona. I just don't love this move. And a horse that's going to be favored, I have to think in here, unless Conglomerate. I mean, the favorite, I assume, is either going to be Oak Hill or Conglomerate, right?
Agreed.
David had the Angry Man as the favorite morning line. I'd like to bet him on that one. Really? A horse with a dirt race is going to be favored in a turf race? I don't have a big fig.
Something front.
David can text me. He can bet me lunches on this. I'm going to start cherry picking. I think the horse will be no better than second choice and maybe third choice.
It'll depend on how much money Conglomerate takes. Because like you, I just assumed Oak Hill would be the favorite.
That's what I assumed, right?
I just assumed Oak Hill would be the favorite, or Conglomerate is tipped out and takes a ton of money. I don't know. Not privy to that.
The Angry Man, I will say that, who I don't know I don't believe his name for me, but it's always possible that nobody consulted with me. Is a half to a couple of turf winners that were okay. So the Angry Man does have a pedigree, to be fair. I'm not taking this horse. I don't understand why you're rushing to the turf. Based on the last race, why not try the dirt again? This horse run well enough to win some maiden special weights in the dirt.
I would. Listen. This was the kind of race where the problem with a race like this is I feel like you got the spread.
Should we talk about my pick?
Yeah, you can catch an $8 horse on a spread, which is never a good thing.
I think Maddie's Marauder is an interesting enough horse to put on top at a price, because Maddie's Marauder, to me, broke slow, a half slow, dropped off in the debut, was chasing 3-4 wide the whole way. That was the day the turf was yielding. When it rained, it's listed as firm, but it wasn't yielding. And I thought this horse ran a very respectable race first time out for David Donk. And I just believe he's going to get really lost in this race. And there's nothing wrong with that effort first time out. Why can't this horse improve and be good enough to get a piece in here at 10-1?
I just don't like the race.
What race?
The race that he's coming out of.
Okay.
That monkey see, monkey do. Finally got the money, and
Well, it's not like monkeys and
Alfaro
monkeys
just
do.
wants to run second. I don't like that race.
Okay. Horses come back out of that race to win the other day, right? Yes.
That was the race with the half the orb yesterday.
No. I thought Maddie's Marauder was an interesting horse at a price in a race where I'm a little bit skeptical of a lot of horses, but scared of Conglomerate, the first-time starter.
Yep.
Race number 6. These are 2-year-old maidens in the turf. The first 2-year-old maiden turf race. And you've gone to Rip It. Why?
I went to Rip It. First are for Christophe Clement. Remember the mare? Repost. She was nice. She was okay.
She was a very good horse
Yeah.
for Bill Mott and Judd Mott. Hundreds. But why do you like the horse?
Rosario draws inside. These turf distance races, especially this early in the meet, I want some to be able to save some ground. And I know Rosario from the Pines going to be able to do that. Figured the horse would be a square enough price. Again, this was a little bit of a guessing game for me. I didn't see a ton of pedigree to go off of in here. I don't know if you did.
Yes, I did, actually.
Okay.
Why do you think, is it odd that Gainesway has this horse and not Juddmont, the horse in the rail?
I'm wondering if this was, it's funny, because I forgot to write it down. I wonder if this was kind of a full share
I'm
agreement.
assuming exactly
Just a
what
full
it is.
share, and they bought him out.
Gainesway stands tap it. So my guess is that they've probably shared, and if people aren't confused, and I guess that's the same
That's
reason
the only,
too.
I mean, I didn't do
is
any
that,
research
in other
into
words,
it,
they'll
that's what
breed
it
the
has
mare
to
to
be.
tap it, who stands for an enormous amount of money. Gainesway keeps one. Juddmont keeps the other. We don't know for sure, but
Right.
I agree with you. I thought that's what it was. I don't know. I guess that was okay. We have a stat, I think, for the right stuff. No, I did not put it up. For what it's worth, Wesley Ward, first-time stars in turf routes. He's 2 for 34. He's 0 for 19 with 1 hitting the board with 2-year-olds. So I know that horse may take some money. Haven't seen them be successful. We'll see if that horse can run. I think this horse might have been entered at Ellis as well at one point.
I didn't notice that.
I want to play 2 horses in this race. I'll use Nautilus a little bit. There's not really a lot of turf pedigree for that one. I like the 5 Catman. Catman's a half to 2 very, very solid turf winners. The 5 Catman for Mike Maker. And those horses' sires were, I think, is it Bold Warrior? Or
Yeah, there was a Bold Warrior,
and
there
Point
was
of Entry. And Point of Entry is good, and I'm not saying not a turf horse, but none of them are the kind of sire that Kitten's Joy is. So now you've got a dam that's produced 2 good turf horses and being bred to Kitten's Joy. So I like Catman as one of them, and I also think the 10 Pivotal Mission has to be used. The dam was okay in the turf. It's a European second family. Grand Motion's horses are firing on all cylinders. So I want to use the 5 and 10 in this race as my main 2 horses on a pedigree and trainer.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I like this race. I thought it was odd that Rock Sugar ran the turf because 'Tis So Sweet was a very nice dirt horse for Bill Mott.
Me too.
Makes me wonder, and Frosted
47
as
and
well.
3. 47 and 3 work. Last out.
Makes me wonder if he doesn't think it's a dirt horse taking a shot.
Taking a shot, just trying to get the source of distance around. Maybe
Correct.
see him come back in a dirt sprint later on in the meet. Could be.
Race
I
number.
need a drink.
What?
I need a drink.
You got? Oh, you're right. Thank you for that. That's why I have Anthony here. Let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, Saratoga Water.
I'm not waiting.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Water. He's the Big A, Anthony Stabile. I'm not. Big A will be rushing over the National after here. He'll be appearing in person, signing autographs, kissing babies, doing the whole thing.
Maybe I'll start campaigning.
Race number 7. You'd be a tremendous politician.
I'm a tremendous everything.
I thought the horse to beat in here was Blind Willie McTell for Linda Rice. We'll go back to the Mike Lee. Things didn't work out stretching out after this Mike Lee victory. And then I am a little worried about the race in February because this horse was very, very flat that day. I think Linda Rice, though, it's pretty clear, has come to Saratoga ready and well armed. And
4 of the first 2 days was a 2 and 2, 2-bagger, 2-bagger. Is that accurate? I believe it is.
Yes.
And here's Blind Willie. Listen, nothing wrong with Blind Willie McTell. I can tell you that. He's going to try open company for just the second time in his career. He faced a couple of state breds in that race back in February at Aqueduct in Morning Breeze, and the winner Cecilia Mike, who was on a 2-race win streak at the time for trainer Gary Siaka. Yeah, I mean, I have no knocks on Blind Willie McTell. No real knocks. Put him second. He can absolutely win this race.
No,
I just don't like the. Actually, there's one knock. One race from August of last year. You know, he runs on August 23rd. He runs in February.
Well, I'm scared about the last race not being good, and I don't mind the 2 route races. Well, I mean, he ran in February. We had a lay up to February. Obviously, he would have run more had we not canceled racing for 3 months.
No, I understand that, but
you picked Yaupan. We'll take a look at Yaupan's race at Churchill Downs. Have at it.
This one, to me, was kind of clear-cut. I respect Blind Willie McTell and think he could be the horse to beat, but I just think Yaupan has a huge tactical advantage over these horses, gets himself involved in a little bit of a speed duel here in his debut, gets the job done. Kind of, there were some bumps there through the stretch, and he's still able to fight off his rival on the outside.
How about this stat?
That's not a good stat.
No, it's not.
That's
and
not
we've seen a lot of the 2-year-olds that win their debuts not come back and run well. And I wanted to separate them from 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds and up and see if maybe he was better with older horses. There is not a great record with Asmussen horses that have done well in their debuts, coming back and running as well in their return. And he doesn't have to run as well. He has to improve in all likelihood to win this race. And I think people are going to see he won his first start. He ran fine. I'm not knocking him. He beat a first-time starter in his next start. The horse who was third came back and improved his Beyer figure 11 points at Keeneland. So it's not as though it was a bad race. I just am skeptical he's going to come back. And I think that Dylan Davis, one of the reasons that Dylan, rode fairly well at Belmont the last week was he became more aggressive. And the Binkster for your buddy Ray Handel, I think it's supposed to be right on top of him. He also comes out of a race, the number 2 Binkster, where it's good sealed. It was closer to sloppy and sealed, and nobody was able to gain any ground in that race. And considering the dynamics of the race, and not exactly sure how he ended up as far back as he did, because I didn't really notice anything major happening at the start. He's supposed to be much closer and has been in the past, and I'd like to see Ray and Dylan be aggressive with him, sit on top of Yaupan. And I thought he was I don't agree with David. David, I can't argue with him. I think David has the same opinion. I think the Binkster will be a clear third choice in here. I think Yaupan and Blind Willie McTell will be the first and second choice in some regard. And I thought Binkster might be 7-2 or closer. I don't think
2-1, 2-1, 7-2. Yeah.
It's difficult. I'm not in any way criticizing the line. And they are obviously the 3 that are going to take the bulk of the play. But I thought he might end up being sort of distinguished as the third choice among them.
I don't know if I disagree with that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That means a lot to me.
I do think there's as far as I'm concerned, I know you seem to like Binkster today. For me, there's a considerable drop-off from my first 2 picks to the rest of this field.
Okay, I completely disagree.
Yeah.
Could not disagree more.
Okay.
Kosciuszko, I don't think, is impossible. He's another horse that was compromised last time by the way the racetrack was playing. You go back to his race 2 back, and at times has run well enough. And if you're looking for a price horse to get in there, I think Kosciuszko's not impossible in this race.
No, not impossible.
Anthony would have had him in the top 4, but you couldn't leave Bill Mott out of the top 4.
Couldn't leave Kachina out. No, of course
you can't.
Not.
You can't do that to Bill, especially because Bill's around.
How many Bill Mott winners have I missed in the last 2.5 weeks?
Every one of them. I think it's very nice that you have stopped picking his horses so you could let him win. Race number 8. I knew that Anthony would pick Creative Style, so I'm going to go back and show Creative Style, easily being Hoffenheim.
Thanks.
And you've picked him again.
I have. He's gotten good. You never very rarely say this, but he's gotten good for Eddie Barker. Won 2 of his last 3.
Had a perfect trip last time, didn't he?
He did. You can't hold the race against Reed Can, who's refound his form. Creative Style obviously isn't going to win sprinting. He came back in a week last time, and now he gets about a month between races.
You're not worried that his running style, 1 turn favors him a little more than 2 turns?
I'm sure it does, but I think he gets enough there's enough pace in here. Whenever Flowers for Lisa shows up, there's going to be enough pace. His running style is better suited to one turn, but I think if the pace starts coming back, we've seen plenty of horses.
What do you do
making
with
up
Flowers
ground
for
here.
Lisa?
I
Does she
put
run anymore?
Flowers for Lisa.
You've
has
got her
races.
second.
I do. I have Hoffenheim in there too.
She
These
doesn't
are
seem
two
like
horses,
she can run at all anymore.
Well,
Flowers.
they're two horses that do have back races. I don't trust a lot of these horses. I think there has to be
I don't
some
trust
pace
any
in
of them,
here.
Anthony.
Yeah, I think there has to be some pace in here, and I think there are a couple of horses in here, and it's fun. This is not me attacking. I think you picked two horses in here that do their best work when they're controlling on the front end, and I don't see how either of them can get in front of Flowers for Lisa. You always tell me there's no paces here. There has to be a pace in this race.
No, there doesn't.
Come on, Andy. If there's no pace
Anthony,
in here, when's there going to be pace?
you live in a mythological world where there's paces and dirt races at Naira. I don't. I'm trying to live in the real world, and I live in the world where there aren't. So it's not particularly projected to be that fast. I'm not saying it's not going to be a fair pace or honest pace. I don't like anybody in this race.
Okay.
And I do not agree with if I will take whoever among Kumar or Singapore Trader is the bigger price. I don't see how it's not Kumar. I can't imagine he'll be shorter than now. Listen, he's got him 6 and 8 to 1, so it's not like he's taken a big stand. But I think the Singapore Trader will be a shorter price. As far as Kumar is concerned, he has one race, and you're right. He was on the front end that day when he won, and you're also right. He's not going to be on the front end today. Kumar's a funny horse because a lot of us liked him last time, and we're sort of wondering about the ride in general because he never got into the race at all. I'm kind of just hoping that the good Kumar shows up and he's going to be somewhere between 6 and 10 to 1 in here. I don't like this horse
A
particularly.
lot of people like this horse today.
Really? Who?
Seen a couple of things in the morning.
Well,
watching
then
TV
I would
stuff.
switch my pick to the 4. What shocks me here is you picked every single Horatio DePaz horse for the last month at Belmont. How do you not have Singapore Trader in your top 4?
I don't want anything to do with this horse going a mile and an eighth. Nothing to do with him.
Okay.
Well, nothing to do with it. Again, he's against what he wants to. He wants to be forwardly placed and controlling, and that's not in the cards for him
Well,
today.
that's also not true.
And now he has to go 9.
He wants to be forwardly placed. He does not need to be controlling. He has 3 wins rating, Anthony. So don't say he needs to control.
He needs to be
Anthony,
okay.
he has
He
3
needs to be forwardly
wins
placed.
racing.
He needs to be forwardly placed.
Well, why can't he be forwardly placed
And
in
he
this
has
race?
because he's gonna chase horses.
Why is he going to be chasing?
Namely, Flowers for Lisa. He's going to
Why
be
is he gonna be
tracking,
chasing?
chasing,
There's
whatever
a
word
big
you want to
difference
use.
between chasing
He's
and
gonna
tracking.
be behind and following horses in front of him.
So you believe this race is going to fall apart? That's your contention.
I do. I believe.
Yet you have Flowers for Lisa second.
Because if there's a horse in here that can get in front of these horses and keep going, it's him.
Based on his recent form?
No, not based on some of his
lost
old
by
form.
77.5 lengths.
But
in
listen,
his last
I'm not
two
going to
starts.
find out about Flowers for Lisa at 5 to 1. I'm going to find out at 15.
No, you're not. She's not going to be 15. He's not.
You don't think he's going to be?
No.
You don't think he'll be? You think he'll be lower than his morning line?
I don't know. This race to me is
How could
completely.
you like him off his recent form?
This race is completely baffling to me, to be honest. This race is just confusing to me. I'm going to try the 2 and 4 in this race. I guess I'll use a little 1 and 3 as backups. I'm going to stay towards them. I don't like Musical Heart, who's going to take money, but won on a sloppy track, and that wasn't a big speed track, to be fair, at Gulfstream. But still, Anthony, you and I could argue back and forth about this race forever. I may or may not agree with you, but I don't disagree because I don't have this race. I know one thing. Hammer and Amer, he's got the 5-2 morning line. Now, listen, David makes a tremendous morning line, and if he thinks there's going to be favor, he's probably right. I'm not betting this horse to win this race. This is a horse whose best racing is done forward, and that post and coming here from out of town, I didn't like this horse.
Yeah,
He's got some good back races, but I don't like him. I didn't know he was the morning line favorite.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, I don't envy David making a line in any race here, particularly this one, because
make them all 7 to 1.
I mean, right? Because who knows?
That's this kind of race.
This is
It
a
really
very,
is.
very, very tricky race. Race number 9, I don't think is a tricky race, except Anthony decided to make it a little more difficult. We'll talk about the 2 horses that can win, and then we'll talk about Anthony's pick first. And we'll start out with Digital Age and Monarch's Glen. I love Digital Age, and I think that he has the potential to be a legitimate stakes horse. There's a very good ride by Irad. He followed breaking the rules. He sort of ducked back in the turn. This ride reminded me a bit of the ride he gave Bricks and Mortar in the Arlington Million last year, which was sort of quietly one of the best rides of the entire year. Still, and Breaking the Rules is a legitimate stakes horse. I wanted him to win. I guess Breaking the Rules had a little better trip. The fact that he has more speed made him more comfortable in his position.
His speed helped him immensely that day.
He's one of the 2 horses that can win this race. I'm going to keep it simple. You're not. No Digital Age for you on top.
No, I don't want to say he's run out of time, run out of chances.
Well, he's been very unlucky in a lot of races, Anthony. Very, very, very unlucky in a lot of races.
He has been. He's a nice horse. And
Set Piece, the other horse who can theoretically win this race.
This was I was covering this race on HRN.
This was something. This was some performance.
This was something because this horse
broke a little slow.
Slow start, by the way. He was completely flat-footed coming out of there. I mean, he got away from there slowly, and from around the 3/8 pole. And he's running past the
He beat Battle Rocks, who came back and improved his Beyer figure 3 points, the old pro Battle Rocks. I agree. This was a very, very impressive race. Both he and Digital Age look like graded stakes quality horses, and I can't imagine a scenario where somebody besides them win this race unless there's something bad happens. How is Ramsey Solution going to beat this horse?
I'm taking a little chance here that Ramsey Solution, Tyler Gaffalione knows what he has to do. He has to get in front.
Get another slow pace in the front end and hope every other speed takes back. Why would Johnny
front.
and Tom Morley take back Red Right Hand?
He's faster than Red Right Hand.
He's not faster than Red Right Hand. He's actually not.
He's faster than Red Right Hand.
He's actually not. Every speed grabbed in the last race. Every one. There were like 4 horses that grabbed in there.
I feel like Gaffalione just put him in front today. And if one of the other 2 run him down, I'm going to use the 3 of them. I may use the little Red Right Hand. Because Red Right Hand does figure to be the first one to come calling on Ramsey Solution.
Red Right Hand's going.
Okay.
Why would he rate him?
You want to bet a lunch that Ramsey
No,
Solution's
I don't want to. I don't want to bet a lunch on thing. They're both fast. They both have the same. I mean, neither one of them's particularly fast. They both have the same amount of speed. We'll see how it's ridden. I don't like Ramsey Solution at all. I'll be shocked if this horse is hits the superfecta.
Okay.
You bet a
want to bet a lunch on that?
No, that's what I'll bet you he's not in the try.
I'll bet that lunch.
Okay. We're at 49.
Yep.
I can't give you 4th. I can only give
That's
you a
fine.
try.
It's
What about
only,
Noble and Indy? You don't think Jose Ortiz is planning on raising Noble Indy?
He's not as fast as him.
Well, he actually is, but he's actually fast. He's
Not anymore.
actually the fastest of all 3 of them if he really wants to lead.
Yeah, well
he is.
His speed. I feel like his speed's kind of left him a little bit in the last year. Because I do.
Were you drinking the Jack and Ginger when you handicapped
Last
this race?
night.
Okay,
I was last night. I was
so you
smoking a cigar,
weren't.
finishing the Sunday work.
Was there something in the cigar when you smoked this? Handicapped
No.
race? Okay, I'm just checking.
Not anymore.
I just thinking that for full disclosure, Altaf is scratched from the CCA Oaks. A big scratch for David Aragona, who made her 5-1. I did speak to Chad Brown about the scratch of Altaf, and he just felt that something was off with her this morning. Hopefully, and believes it's nothing serious. I just, the most important thing to do for any trainer is to protect their horses, whether it's a $10,000 claimer or, a $10 million horse of the year candidate. If they're not right, no matter how big the race or small, you don't run them, and that's why Chad Brown is not running Altaf. Hopefully it's nothing minor. Hopefully he just erred on the side
nothing major.
of caution.
Hopefully it's something minor.
This is a very, very, very tricky race, in my opinion. I think I've lost the videos, so I don't know what order they're in. Do they blow away on me?
No.
Or did I just... Oh, here they are. I'm struggling. Okay. What's the first video, Anthony?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
You have 2 sets of videos there.
They could bail me out in the truck, but they're so enjoying this.
Yeah, you can just run the video. I'll figure out who it is.
The horse that I scratched into and you had on top originally, Paris Lights. I don't love her, but you know what? She may just be faster and better than these horses.
I do love her today.
That's nice. Does Bill Mott know?
I do love her. No, I didn't text him.
You picked 2 Bill Mott horses today.
2 today.
Sorry, Bill.
1st and 10th. And gave Cucina some honorable mention. I love everything about her last 2 races since she stretched out.
You didn't think she struggled a bit against some mediocre field last time?
No.
I did.
Do you?
I did, yeah.
I thought she's...
Yeah, I thought he had
I'll tell you one thing about her. From what, and again, you're going to make fun of me with the eye test.
Oh.
It wasn't an eye test. She looks a little lazy.
It's another way to
She looks a little
discuss
lazy.
the eye test.
So I think what you saw last time with her struggling, I just think she's a little lazy, and that's why
You're
I
a
think
bigger expert on lazy than I am.
I'm the king. I was a part-time stay-at-home son for many years. The Tyler Gaffalione fits her
I finished the sparkling.
for
Should I
that
move on
reason.
to that
I took
flat?
I had one of your sparklings today. Actually, it's delicious.
It is. I know. I told you. I'm making you a convert. I love
like
this
them.
area.
I got plenty of room for both here. She appears to be a little lazy, and I think Tyler, who's an aggressive rider and a very strong rider, fits her because he'll stay after her.
You think other riders wouldn't stay after him?
I'm not saying that. I think he's very good at sensing that. He's a guy that I've been wrong about, too. I didn't think Tyler Gaffalione was much when he
What
first
about
started.
Crystal
He's
Ball?
a very good rider.
What about Crystal Ball coming in? We'll take a look at her maiden win.
I think Paris Lights sits off Crystal Ball. I think Crystal Ball is going to get in front of Paris Lights.
Well, Velvet Crush is supposed to be sitting second here. I mean, and Tonalist Shape is probably going to be sitting third. I don't think I think the 6 is probably sitting fourth in this race. But, you know, there's a couple ways to look at Crystal Ball. She's the speed. She can try to wire the field. It's Bob Baffert coming over here. I'll say one thing. If you look at the dirt races at Santa Anita on this day, it really felt like speed was extremely good on the main track. It's a little hard to tell now. I hadn't realized till I started trying to decipher biases that every other race at Santa Anita is now a turf race.
Yeah.
Never used to be like that. I'm not sure what to do with her. She didn't even get that good a fig. You know, I found this stat for Bob Baffert off maiden wins going right into graded stakes. Bob Baffert does many things well and few things not well, especially in dirt racing. Not a particularly good stat for this horse. There's part of me that says she may just wire the field and Bob's shipping all the way across the country. But, you know, what's he going to do anyway? Where's he going to run her out in California?
Not a lot of places to run her.
You know, he wants to take a shot and see if she's an Oaks horse. You got to get points somewhere.
But the fact that she should be able to control in here, I think gives her a little bit of an edge because, let's be honest.
Does it?
I'm not really. There aren't a lot of proven. There are no proven stakes types in here. You know, I mean, Tonalist Shape.
Anthony's trying to find a way to say this isn't the strongest edition of the Coaching Club American Oaks of all time.
It's not. So
you're correct.
I want to take it. And if I'm Bob Baffert, you say it all the time. There's nobody. Nobody goes to the lead here. If you're Bob Baffert, send this filly here. Listen, put her in front because you want to talk about her struggling. The last 1/8 of a mile, 3/16 of a mile. It didn't look like 9 furlongs was going to be her friend. But if she gets in front and
she's going to be going not quite as fast a pace as she went that day. And, you know, I want to point out, this is the first year of the new surface that Glenn Kozak put in here, Saratoga. And I don't think there's anything that Glenn can't do well.
It's amazing.
And he obviously has a lot of people working for him that do a good job. But that surface, I'll tell you what's the biggest compliment to that surface. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody in racing, trainers, horse players, we're all looking for excuses all the time.
Trainers, if you notice this, right, and obviously the coverage up here, trainers have to be prompted about it. Where in years past,
it's amazing. I mean, the first day of the new surface, the track has been perfectly fair. It's playing at a very evenly. It's really, I mean, it's remarkable. It's
handled the water well.
I would say it's right. I mean, it poured. It poured. The track was fast for the workouts yesterday morning. I mean, it's really the untold story in racing right now is that surface that Glenn put in. It's amazing.
At a time where
he was putting it in while he also had immense duties down in New York. Incredible job by Glenn.
He did a great job with the surface.
Let's take a look at Tonalist Shape, and you know. You and I have a Tonalist Shape third in here, or maybe over fourth. I
have a fourth.
You had to put a lot first and third. She's the most accomplished member of this field. I think 9 furlongs is a bit of a question, but listen, she's drawing off here at a mile and 16th. I'd like to know where Pleasant Orb is. Barclay Tagsworth ran second in the Acorn. I hope she didn't get hurt. I think she would have had a chance in here. She's obviously working extremely fast. I want to see Safi Joseph win races in Saratoga, in New York, before I start betting them, because so far his horses have underachieved a bit. He hasn't run that many, but wouldn't you say the couple he's run have underachieved a little bit?
Yeah, and you know, the truth of the matter is, she has a couple of fast figs, but are we too convinced? Are we convinced that maybe she wants to keep it to a mile around the one turn?
she ran a mile and 16th last time.
Yeah,
And ran fine. I'm not sure.
That Philly Dream Marita finished second. She started out in starter allowance ranks. She broke them in for a tag. Was in starter allowance races late last year, early into this year. I don't know.
The challenge of coming to Saratoga for the first time, especially, we've seen a lot of trainers over the years with high percentages out of town that have come to Saratoga and just underachieved. It's tough to come here. It's tough to move here and reproduce the kind of form you have in the comfort of your own environment.
And I think my other knock, well, yeah, it's the toughest place in the world to win. My other knock on her is
Seems
the
like it for
blinkers
me.
go on. The blinkers go on when she's done. I mean, nothing. I don't like that move. She's 6 for 7 and the blinkers go on. What else does she have to do? She got to be a Swiss skydiver.
Quickly touch on Antoinette, Anthony.
I don't know what to do with her.
She's not awful. I don't
know
like
what
her,
to
but
do
she's
with
not
her.
awful.
Right? You would think that if for some reason Tonalist Shape and Crystal Ball hook up.
No, they're not going to hook up.
No, I mean, I wouldn't imagine they would, but she would need a little help up front. But you feel like she has a race in her that could get her a big piece of this. I don't know.
I'm not going to be dismissive of her. She's not impossible in here. Race number 11 closes out the car at 6 furlongs. We'll take a look at Farragut and Midnight Whiskey hitting the wire together in a crazily run race. The first of 2 long shot first-time starter winners for Richard Lugovich, who came from the clouds. Midnight Whiskey took the fight with Mr. Buckley the entire way around the track. I just thought today he would be faster than the horses today, and I thought Midnight Whiskey, who was well-meant last time, is supposed to get it done today.
We knew Quick Return was going to come out because he ran second in the finale yesterday. Both of the Eduardo Jones verses came out with
you were very excited for the Eduardo Jones.
They were showing a ton of bullets, and they were fast. Well, quite frankly now, I mean, those are probably a couple of good scratches for Midnight Whiskey because it leaves him and maybe Papa Luke to.
But you prefer Farragut.
I do. I preferred Farragut when I thought that entry was coming in to go fast early. I'm going to stick with Farragut, partially because I saw Pat Quick at the hotel this morning, the first person I saw. So
did he see you?
He did. We had a nice little conversation going to the parking lot before I came over today, so I decided to stick to that's not the reason I stuck with him. Midnight Whiskey.
It's not me, it's him.
Midnight Whiskey's the horse to beat in here. I think Papa Luke can put a little pressure on him.
Why can't Papa Luke win?
Papa Luke can win.
He ran very well last time.
Win. Papa Luke can absolutely win.
He buried your horse last time.
He did.
They look like the right 3.
Yeah.
What about?
I know Farragut's run well on wet tracks, but Farragut's getting back to a fast track.
What about the horse of the rail? And it's funny. I was thinking, what price did David make American Piper? And I can imagine he was looking at it, thinking, what price am I supposed to make a horse that's trained by a guy who's 0 for 13 in the last 5 years, a trainer? None of them have hit the board. They've all been $1 million to 1. Yet the horse is showing fast workouts out of town, and somehow he got Irad Ortiz to ride this horse. There must be some story on this horse.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we talked about the full share before. Agent Steve Rushing for Irad Ortiz Jr. is down from that area. I don't know if Rick Buckley is from the Mid-Atlantic
They were
region.
college roommates or something?
I'm just listen. You're asking for
No,
reason.
no. I don't know. I wonder what the story is.
I try to get through the Jack Daniels and now Saratoga water in the brain, and I try to figure something out. So it's turf pedigree. But he's just bullet after bullet, 59 a
2
minute.
other foals in this dam, did no running whatsoever, $12,000.
But the other ones that ran were
These
turf.
are the kind of horses in Saratoga that always take an enormous amount of money. And when you add in that Irad is riding very quickly.
Might be the favorite. That horse might be the favorite today.
Nothing would shock me. In Saratoga, very little shocks me. I'm shocked when I cash. I won a little yesterday.
Say again?
I won a little yesterday.
I won a lot yesterday.
Good for you. That's what I meant to ask you.
I like Viadera.
That's good. I know you did.
Viadera
Yeah,
was a good one.
Yeah, it's a good ride by Joel.
Yeah.
No, it was an excellent pick. Your picks the first 2 days have been terrific. You've been sensational. No question about it.
Good start. It's a route, not a sprint, like I told one of our friends on Twitter.
Early speed is forgotten.
Something I don't really have, early speed.
Who do you quickly like in the Haskell? Authentic?
I like New York Traffic. I like New York Traffic today. I think today's New York Traffic's day.
Okay. I didn't look, so I won't show.
I like a horse in the United Nations, too.
Who?
I like Corelli, Jonathan Thomas horse that ran in the Tiller.
Okay. You heard it here first. Or second. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, we will match up to $200 of your initial deposit. Use the promo code SPA. Become a member of Naira Bets. Support racing in New York State. Once you're a member of Naira Bets, and all of us, if you play yesterday, today, tomorrow, any of these days, and you bet a total of $100 or more on both Monmouth and Saratoga, it shouldn't be a problem today with the good race at Monmouth as well. App only. You could have crushed that exacta, the Chad Brown exacta in race number 6 at Monmouth yesterday. Paid $44. $25 bonus if you do that. You must play through the app, which, of course, we do all day long.
Of course.
The Cross Country Big Five. You can play this anywhere. We'll start out with the Monmouth Cup at Monmouth.
I like Monongahela.
Monongahela, okay. United Nations, all kinds of winners from the Big A. Then we'll go up north, the Woodbine, the Royal North.
Summer Sunday.
The Haskell and Coaching Club. You like Summer Sunday?
In the Royal North, yep.
Well, you're all over.
We did it well. We did it for Weekend Stakes preview presented by Naira Bets. We covered
Starts
all
at
those races
4:40.
last night.
It'll end about 6, about an hour and a half later. Anyhow, that's the Cross Country Big Five. And finally, don't miss any of the action at Saratoga all summer. Go to Naira.com/Saratoga Live. Tractor Man comes to the end of the show. We will be on. I think
FS.
I think I want to say FS1 today.
I don't know.
I'll be starting out with Lafitte up in the desk here. I'm going to get some lunch. Johnny I, the voice of New York racing, up next with a reprise of the scratches and changes.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Saratoga Racecourse. A sunny Saturday at the Spa. The main track is fast, the turf courses are firm. Portable rails up on the melon turf at 12 feet, on the inner turf at 9 feet. And we have a jackpot carryover in today's Empire 6 of more than $96,000. In today's first race, note that all horses will carry 1 pound over. In today's second race, we now have a jockey change on number 2, Quid, and the rider will be Dylan Davis. Dylan Davis rides number 2, Quid, and these horses will carry 2 pounds over, numbers 1, 2, 6, and 8. Today's third race, the Grade 2 National Museum of Racing Hall of Fame Stakes. Scratch 4, Money Moves, and 5, Guffo. Scratch 4 and 5. And numbers 1, 2, 3, and 6 will be 2 pounds over. And there's no show wagering on the third. No changes in the fourth. In race 5, all horses will carry 2 pounds over. Scratch 1, Vicarage. 2, Futuro. Scratch 8, Joycey Has Pizzazz. And 11, Obsessed. In the fifth, scratch numbers 1, 2, 8, and 11. In the sixth race, all horses are 1 pound over. Jockey change on the 8, Breakthrough, to Dylan Davis. Dylan Davis rides number 8, Breakthrough. No changes in races 7 or 8. We move to the 9th race. Couple of scratches there. Scratch 3, It's All Relevant, and 5, Expert. Scratch 3 and 5. And numbers 1, 7, 8, and 9 are 2 pounds over. Featured 10th race, the 104th running of the Coaching Club American Oaks. Scratch number 3, Altaf. Scratch the 3. And in today's 11th race, scratch 1, Royal Kaz, 1A, Kaz's Beach, and 3, Quick Return. Scratch 1, 1A, and 3. And these horses will be 1 pound over. Numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. We're fast and firm, and we have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of more than $96,000. The Saratoga opener in 36 minutes at 110.